Good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Watkins, and I'm here today to give you a little bit of an advertisement for our upcoming community assessment workshop, which will be held May 14th and 15th in Louisville, Kentucky at the Galt Hotel, and also to touch on the topic of community assessment in general and to provide you with a little bit of information and some things to think about, even if you can't make it to our workshop. On your screen right now should be the information about how to register and where to go for details and things of this nature. As I said, it's going to be in May. It'll be in Louisville. Should be a lovely time to be in Louisville. And we will be touching on new items in the community assessment, items that are required, items that are helpful, and items that may be needed for other purposes that you want to go ahead and put in the assessment right now. There have been changes in the way we assess communities. In the past, completely sufficient, use the performance standards list and everything was golden. Now we're having to describe a much wider range of items that are impacting the design of our programs, thus making it a richer and more detailed document. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's gotten all that more complicated, but it does mean that we need to do some downstream thinking in order to determine what data and what information needs analysis on the front end so that we can have that information as it's needed on the back. Okay, let's take a look at a simple case. A program is looking to expand Early Head Start or expand into Early Head Start services. Are the children there? Well, we collect the information based on the children's date of birth, and we get the estimates of the number of children by age in that area. We then take the poverty figures and we adjust our number of children for the poverty to give us an estimate of number of children in poverty in that location, and we ask ourselves, are the children there? Yes, the children are there. Great, we can do this. Is it time to rush off to the board and policy council? No, not quite. Well, what else might we need to be taking a look at? Are there facilities in place? If we actually have facilities that are sitting vacant, then we are golden and we can run with this. But if facilities aren't in place, then we may have to branch out in what we need to be paying attention to in the community assessment. So if space is not immediately available, are there areas that could become early Head Start facilities at a reasonable cost? So that lends itself to another line of inquiry in the community assessment. If there's no suitable space out there, period, then we may have to be looking at different program options, which again would have us considering child care partners, family child care homes, or the home base option. But that has to be tempered with the parents' wants and desires of services in terms of where do they want the children to be served. If space isn't available and programs immediately start looking at home base, do the parents actually want an in-home visiting program, or are they still looking to have their children placed outside of the home? So these are some questions that start kicking in on facilities when we're taking a look at facilities and facility availability as part of the community assessment. Now here's the third item. Do we have teaching staff? Are the teachers out there? Yes, the teachers are out there, then we are golden, we are in good shape. No, the teachers aren't there, then we have to start taking a look at what we can do in terms of staffing our Head Start and now Early Head Start program. Because if the teaching staff aren't there, then it's going to be very difficult to staff this option. Still looking at what to do if we don't have the staff. Can we retrain our existing staff? This might be an option. Then again, it might not be an option. There may be constraints that keep you from retraining your staff to change their position from a preschool teacher to an early Head Start teacher. For some of us, we may have to ask the question, are we willing to lower our teaching standards to use just CDA staff? And that's nothing to sneeze at, but it does mean that if you're a program that has proudly said that all of our teaching staff are BA level teachers, and we start moving into early Head Start and can't find BA level teachers with the background in early childhood development necessary for implementing an infant toddler program, then we may be looking at CDAs. And while we're looking at that, we may have to take a look at the colleges and universities in our area in terms of what are they producing by way of college graduates. Are they even producing teachers at a normal rate, or have things changed and fewer people are going into the teaching professions in your area? And if so, how is that impacting the teacher availability for staffing your early Head Start program? Now, the whole reason that I went a little bit deeper into this is that the teacher availability is not something that is necessarily required in a community assessment, but if you found that you're continuing to have difficulties in recruiting staff, then we may have to be taking a look at this as part of our community assessment. Some of you are now saying, wait a minute, you've gone beyond what the Head Start Performance Standard says has to be in a community assessment. Well, yes, I have, because what's actually taking place here is we are taking a look at the assessment in terms of driving the program design and option, but also taking a look at what we anticipate happening in terms of design and option as also driving what we need to collect information on. So this tends to be a two-way street, and at that point, I admit it does tend to get a little bit on the confusing side. Now, as the slide is pointing out, some elements have to be considered and incorporated into the community assessment planning process, even though that they may not be there in the performance standards requirement, just for the simple fact that you need this information in order to make decisions. And we definitely have to acknowledge that the days are gone when the assessment could be completed and then distributed and shelved. What we have now is a situation where the assessment is revised and updated annually as per regulations and actually being used in the 5-year grants and in looking down the line at what is likely to impact our Head Start programs. So I hope you've found this little bit of information informative and maybe even thought-provoking. Would love to have you with us in Louisville at the Galt House on May 14th and 15th. Yeah, I can't guarantee it's going to be a good time, but I guarantee there will be a lot of information that will be discussed. We will also be discussing some other elements that may not exist in just the straight performance standards, such as the opportunity zones, and those are census tracts, and folks who are writing expansion grants and DRS grants are expected this day and age to reference opportunity zones if they're in their service area. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about everything that's required, and we will be definitely talking about data sources and ways to do simple analysis on these data sources so that the information is usable by a wide range of people. Thank you and have a good day. Hopefully I'll see you in Louisville.